Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So today we're going to go and answer a couple of your questions that I received on Discord. So let's get right into it. Okay, so right off the bat, we got the first question, which is it hard to make money in trading? Now, in my opinion, yes, it's hard, but it doesn't have to be. What I mean by that is it's hard because so many people start doing the wrong things for a long period of time, including myself. A lot of people dive into all these concepts, all these strategies, and that makes it harder than it needs to be. So yes, it is definitely hard to make money in trading, not only because of that, but also because you have to learn to master your emotions to a degree. You have to learn how to manage your psychology. You have to really understand what trading is all about, which is trading in probabilities, and it's not trying to make money by predicting the markets. It's just about trading on a probabilistic edge, and that's why it's so difficult, because most people don't have that mindset where they understand that all it is trading on a probabilistic edge and it's not trying to be right or wrong in the markets. So yeah, it is hard to make money, but like I said, it doesn't have to be as hard as it is. However, I still think that it's going to take you at least a couple of months to get that mindset all set and to truly understand what trading is about and how it works. So um, I feel like a lot of people, including myself, have a way longer learning curve than they need, mainly because of all the noise that surrounds trading. So the second question I got here is, should I leave school to pursue trading? Now, I did this. I left school at an early age to pursue trading. Do I recommend it? I don't know. It depends. Are you happy with what you're studying? If you know that you're not going to do anything with the current study that you're doing, then by all means, I would say leave school, because you're wasting your time. Because I feel like if you're studying something that you're not going to do anyways in the future, then you're not really doing anything useful at school. So I would say, yeah, if you're really serious about trading, go and drop out of school and pursue trading, but only if you're not happy with what you're doing in school. Only if you know that you're not going to be doing what you are studying to do. But I also recommend just trying out new studies as well, like trying out different colleges, different studies. Because at the end of the day, I do think it is important to always have a backup. So I do think it is important to have a degree, even though I don't have one myself. But mainly because it just relieves a little bit of the stress that trading puts on you, because trading can be a really stressful job. So having a degree definitely takes some of that stress away, because you just have a backup. So to summarize, should you drop out of school to pursue trading? Like I said, depends. Do you like what you're doing? If you don't like what you're doing, by all means drop out, but make sure that you at least try different studies as well. And it depends, how much of a risk taker are you? Are you very dedicated to trading? And like myself, I knew I was going to make it in trading, because I did everything I could to make it in trading. But do I think it's necessarily smart? I don't think it is very smart, even though I did it myself. However, if you're like me and you completely disagree with the current school system, then you might as well drop out. But make sure, if you do make that decision, make sure that you at least really thought it through. And if you're young, you should definitely talk about it with your parents as well, because they'll probably have an opinion, which, in my opinion, you should just listen to. You should hear them out. My parents, they tried to talk me out of dropping out of school, which I totally understand. But eventually they agreed, because they saw how dedicated I was to trading. But like I said, if you do drop out of school and trading becomes your one and only source of income and your one and only goal or passion, then that puts a lot of stress onto you, which can then lead to you making bad trading decisions. Now, the next question is a little bit of a funny one. How many challenges have you blown? So I've blown a lot of challenges, like a lot, really a lot of challenges. Mainly because when I first started doing challenges, this was back in 2020, maybe 2019, and there weren't as many Propfirms as there are now, but I went for a challenge every single month, even though I was only trading for a couple of months. I wasted so much money on challenges. I wasn't even profitable. I wasn't even trading on demo accounts. I just instantly hopped into challenges. I think I could say I was gambling for the most part. So I blew a total of 38 challenges in my trading career. And I would say probably 80% of them were in my first 6 months of trading. because I did not know what I was doing. And after that, I didn't really blow any challenges anymore. As soon as I got profitable, I only blew like 1 or 2 challenges when the markets were really bad and I was just, not in the mood to trade a challenge. So in total, yeah, 38 challenges. Most of them were in my first 6 months of trading because I did not know what I was doing. It was extremely foolish of me to buy challenges every month. I bought like 2 or 3 challenges, and as soon as I lost my challenge, I bought another one and tried to pass it within a day. Don't do what I did. Don't go and buy challenges every day because you want to. I was addicted to the idea of having a 10K account because I didn't have a lot of money, so I wanted to have a 10K trading account. I wanted to make 20% every month on it, and I just gambled the shit out of it so I could get a funded account. I think it worked maybe once, and I blew that account like a week later. So yeah, I blew a lot of challenges. Don't do what I did, and just keep a consistent and steady approach. Okay, so the next question here is, how long did it take you to become profitable? So it took me about a little bit over 2 years to become profitable. And the reason I think that's pretty fast. The reason why I got profitable pretty fast, in my opinion, is because, like I said, I dropped out of school. So I did nothing except backtesting every day, all day long. Eventually, I don't even think it was effective because I was backtesting to a point where I just felt so tired and exhausted from it. But yeah, so like I said, I dropped out of school, so I focused on trading 100%. I was studying psychology. I probably read every book on trading psychology there is, every book on trading in general, I think. So it took me about 2 years of like studying, grinding my ass off, but eventually it paid off. So yeah, 2 years before I became profitable, and I would say 2.5 years, maybe 3 years before I actually started to make some decent money in trading. However, it is important to remember that everyone's learning curve is different in trading. Like some people might take 1 year, some people might take 4 or 5 years. It's just everyone has a different learning curve, and it's really important that you stick to, your own path and don't compare yourself to other traders. Because I thought to myself I was going to be profitable a lot sooner, mainly because I taught myself how to play guitar, and I picked that up pretty fast. So I felt like I was going to be able to pick up trading pretty quickly as well, and it ended up not being true. So really stick to your own path. Everyone has a different path, and there's no right or wrong. I don't think anyone is a better trader if they became profitable after 1 year. I just think that it's really all up to the person. Like I know some traders who've been profitable for 5 years and who are, in my opinion, less professional than some traders who've only been profitable for 1 or 2 years. So the next question I have, I like this question. This is a good question. Why am I better at backtesting than live trading? Now, I was a professional backtester in my early years of trading. I was professional at backtesting. My backtesting results were absolutely amazing. I was always making good profit on backtesting. But then as soon as the live markets came around, I lost all of my money. Now, why is that? Why are you better at backtesting than trading? I think the main reason that people are better at backtesting than trading is because, well, it depends. Like if you're backtesting on TradingView, where you can basically see the moves that happen, like you can still count your trades even though they happened, your subconscious will always try and sugarcoat it. So that's one thing. You'll always try and sugarcoat it. Next up, you don't really miss any setups when you're backtesting. And by that, I mean, if you're testing on TradingView, you can always go back and say, well, I would have taken this because it met my strategy. So that's something why a lot of people are better at backtesting. Then there is the psychology part. A lot of people tend to interfere with their trades on live markets. Let's say your trade is really close to hitting take profit. It's a couple pips away from it, and you decide to take profit early because you feel like, well, what if it reverses? I just want to get my money off of the table and I just want to be out of this position. That is interfering with your trades. That's stuff you wouldn't do in backtesting, and that's what ultimately is going to ruin your edge. So that's one thing why people are worse at live trading than backtesting. There's also the part of knowing that it's fake money. A lot of people in backtesting, they know that they're not risking any real money, so they're a lot more comfortable with taking every setups. Then I also think there's a part that people don't understand, that backtesting is exactly what it says it is. It's testing. It's not live trading. It's testing, and you're collecting data on your strategy. Now, a lot of people in the live markets, I think the main reason why backtesting is easier than live trading is definitely psychology. You're not putting any real money on the line, and you don't really care about your backtesting account or your FX replay account. Now, a good way of backtesting is using FX replay. They don't really allow you to cheat. So if you miss trades, you miss trades, just like on the live markets. So that data, I guess you could say, is relatively accurate compared to live markets. My data, my FX replay data is really accurate and is really close and similar to my live data. So yeah, a couple of reasons why backtesting is easier is just, mainly it's psychology, and it's, you can always go back and be like, well, I would have taken that trade even though you wouldn't have. And on the live markets, you decide to stay out of trades because you feel like it's not going to be a good trade, or you think that, well, this one doesn't look too good, so I'm not going to get involved. And in backtesting, you take everything you see because you don't care. So the next question I got, I also like this question. People say I should take A+ setups, but we are taught to trade when our setup is met, basically when our trading plan is met. So why are there variations? Why is there an A+ setup? Why is there a B+ setup? Stuff like that. So to me personally, I don't like having the terminology of like, this is an A+ setup and this is a B+ setup. I like to have a really mechanical approach. So everything that meets my plan to me is an A+ setup. I don't care about something that looks good or worse, but I do know a lot of traders who like to use discretion, and they'll identify certain setups, for example, by how large of an imbalance there is, or how big the liquidity sweep is, or how aggressive the breaker structure is. And they'll say like an A+ setup is one where we have an aggressive breaker structure with a perfect liquidity sweep and a, I don't know, like a 30 pip imbalance. And other people will say, well, a B+ setup is one where we don't really have a clear breaker structure and we don't really have a good imbalance, but we have a good liquidity sweep, stuff like that. To me, it's all noise. I like to do a mechanical approach. I like to just, everything that meets my plan to me is an A+ setup. I don't really look at all these things as B+ or C+ setups. That to me is all just a lot of noise. So don't worry too much about variations. Just have a mechanical approach. Of course, you're always going to have some form of discretion. It's just, that's how trading is. But if you make it as mechanical as possible, you won't really have this annoyance of thinking about whether or not it's an A+ setup or a B+ setup. So the next question I got is, should I risk 1% or 0.5% on a Propfirm challenge? This also really depends on what you like to do. So if you're a little bit more conservative like me, you'll be risking, I don't know, like 0.25, 0.5% per trade on a challenge. So this really depends on the trader and your strategy, and if you know your statistics. So let's say you know your statistics, and let's say you know you have an average losing streak of 7. Let's say 7. If you're going to be risking 2%, obviously there's a high chance that you're going to blow the account. Let's say you risk 1%, you're only down 7%. So to me, how much you risk really depends on your strategy. If you have a high win rate, if you have a low win rate, if you're going for a high RR, low RR. Personally for me, so my stats are, I have about a 50% win rate for a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. So I'm comfortable risking 1% on a challenge account because I know that my average max losing streak is about 4. So I tend to lose 4 trades in a row. So I'm not too worried about hitting the drawdown limit. But let's say you go for a 1-to-7 RR, for example, and you have a win rate of 20% or 30%. Then in my opinion, it's not wise to risk 1 or 2% because you're just way too susceptible to getting a high drawdown, which also is going to mess up your psychology. If you get to like 7 or 8% drawdown, a lot of people will just basically give up and be like, well, I lost the challenge. So it depends on the trader. I recommend, let's say you have similar statistics to me, where you win around 50% of your trades with a 1-to-3 risk to reward. I would say risk about 1 or maybe 0.5%, because it's all about, especially now that we don't have these time limits, it's not about how fast you can pass a challenge. It's about if you can pass the challenge. And I don't care. I would rather invest in a trader who took 3 months to pass phase 1 and he consistently risks 0.5%, rather than investing in a trader who risks 2 or 3% and pass in 2 weeks. Because it's all about longevity in the end. So the next question I got is there a difference between internal and external structure? And yes, there is. But no, I'm not going to talk about it. Why am I not going to talk about it? Because to me, the difference between internal and external structure, especially with a strategy that I'm trading and that our members are trading, there's no point in confusing yourself with internal and external structure. So I would say, if you really need to know the difference, go and look at these in-depth guides on trading. But to me, the difference between internal and external structure is not enough for me to talk about, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's a lot of noise, and you don't need noise in your trading. You just need simplicity. So I'm not going to talk about that, mainly because if you don't confuse yourself with that stuff and you just stick to one strategy, a simple strategy that doesn't really care about internal and external structure, you're going to have a way higher chance of finding success, and also a way higher chance of improving your win rate, because there's not much room for discretion. So the final question I have here is, should I trade one session or should I trade whenever I see my setup? So this depends. For me, I'm a swing trader, right? So I don't trade certain sessions. I just trade whenever I see my setup, which can be throughout, it can be at 9 a.m. It can be at 7 p.m. I don't care, because I'm a swing trader. But let's say you want to be a day trader, 100% stick to one session, in my opinion. Why is that? Well, because it's really difficult to keep a sharp eye on the markets for 8 hours a day straight. Let's say you're looking for your setup the entire day and you just happen to miss it. That type of stuff really makes it difficult to be a successful day trader. So I would say stick to one session. For example, a London session. Go and collect data on the London session and figure out how your strategy performs in that. Because I feel like trying to be active 8 or 9 hours a day to catch your setup whenever whenever it presents itself is way too much chart time and is not worth the risk to reward. So if you can check out the markets for like 2 hours a day, that's a lot better than staring at the chart for 12 hours a day trying to catch your perfect setup. All right, guys, these were some of the questions that you guys sent me. I'll be doing more of these in the future. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section or DM me on Discord, whatever. And yeah, guys, I hope this video was a bit helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you guys have a good day. Take care.